In this video, we're going to learn how to solve problems involving Newton's laws of motions for your physics. So let's get started. The first question we have here says, a force of 16 Newton is applied to a 4.0 kilogram block that is at rest on a mount horizontal surface. What is the velocity of the block at 5 seconds? Alright, now let's solve this, guys. Let's break down the parameters in this question, which is very important. Alright, so for the parameters in this question, we have the force to be 16 Newton, we have the mass, this is M, to be 4 kg, we have the time to be 5 seconds. Okay, we are looking for the final velocity. It's unknown. Okay, then our initial velocity u is 0. This is u. Okay, for this case we are going to apply the formula for Newton's second law of motion, which is F equals change in momentum, mass times v minus u over t. Okay, so when you plug in the values, this is going to give us, we have 16 equals, our mass is 4 in brackets, final velocity minus initial velocity over 5. So when you cross multiply, you are going to have 16 times 5 will give you 80. So we have 80 equals 4v, okay, minus 0. 4 times 0 is 0. So what you do now to get your final results will be to divide both sides by 4 to get the final velocity. So 80 divided 4 will give you 20. So we have the output to be 20 meter per second. That will be the final velocity. So the correct option in this question is option A. It's as simple as this. Let's wipe this now and solve the next repeated question. Okay, so the next repeated question we're going to solve will be this question. It says a bullet fired at a wooden block of thickness 0.15 meter manages to penetrate the block if the mass of the bullet is 0.025 kg or kilogram. The average resting force of the wood is 7.5 times 10 to the power 3 Newton. Calculate the speed of the bullet just before it hits the wooden block. Alright, now we're looking for the velocity. So let's get our parameters in this question. In this question, we have the force to be 7.5 times 10 to the power 3 Newton. We have the mass to be 0.025 kg, and we have the distance to be 0.15 meter. Okay, we are looking for v, final velocity is unknown. Okay, now to solve this question, firstly let's get acceleration. So from acceleration we can apply one of the equations of motion to finish this question. Now remember, force is ma, mass times acceleration. So let's impute the value. We're going to give us 7.5 times 10 to the power 3, okay, equals, our mass is 0.025 times a. So to make a solid formula, divide both sides by 0.025, 0.025. Okay, so this will cancel this. Our acceleration will now be, let's punch this on the calculator. So we have 7.5 times 10 to the power 3 is same thing as 1000. Okay, So this is the output. Divide this by 0.025. So we have 300,000. Okay, so our acceleration A equals 300,000 meter per second square. So let's apply this equation of motion to finish this to get our final velocity. So we're going to apply v square equals u square plus 2as. Okay, so we're looking for the final velocity. It will be v square equals our initial velocity u is 0 square plus 2 times. Now our a is 300,000 times our distance is 0.15. So let's 0 square is something as 0. Let's punch this in the calculator. So we're going to have 300,000, okay, times 0.15 times 2. Okay, so we have 90,000. So we are left with v square equals 90,000. So to make this solid formula, you square root both sides. So square root of 90,000 will give you 300. So the correct option in this question is option D, 300 meters per second. So that will be the final velocity. Okay, so that's it for this question. Let's wipe this now and solve the next repeated question. And it says the impulse of a force is deducted from Newton's second law as. So the correct option to this question is option A. Okay, force is equals mass change in momentum basically. Okay, the Newton's second law of motion states that the rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the applied force and takes place in the direction in which the force acts. So the option is the correct expression for it. So let's go to the next question. It says a body of mass 400 grams moving with a velocity of 14 meters per second collides with a wall. If after collision it moves with a velocity of 6 meters per second in the opposite direction, calculate the change in momentum. And before you solve this question, if you are new to our channel, ensure that you are subscribed to this channel for more of our videos. Really appreciate this, guys. So having done that, let's solve this question. Let's bring out the parameters. So we have our mass to be 400 grams. You convert it to kilogram, the standard unit, to be 400 divided by 1000. When you punch this in the calculator, you're going to have 0.4 kilogram. Okay, so we have our initial velocity u to be 14 meters per second, and we have our, it moves with velocity in the opposite direction. We have our final velocity to be 6 meters per second. Now we are looking for change in momentum. Remember, impulse is proportional to change in momentum. Okay, so change in momentum will be, let's plug in the values. Our mass is 0.4 in brackets. Now we have the final velocity to be 6 and initial velocity to be 14. Okay, so let's simplify this. This is something as 0.4 times minus 8. Okay, so let's punch this on the calculator and see what it's going to give us. So we have 0.4 times 8. .2. So the correct option in this question is 3.2 kilogram meter per second. Okay, alright, so it's as simple as this. Now it would have been minus 3.2, but you don't represent the negative sign for a situation like this. Alright, this negative sign shows the opposite direction, but no need expressing it as the output including negative sign. So with that negative sign, I say correct. So that's it for this question. Let's wipe this now, solve the next repeated question. So the next repeated question we're going to solve will be this question. It says the unit of momentum is what? Very, very simple, Newton second. So this one is straightforward. The next one will be this question. It says two bodies have masses in the ratio 3:1. They experience force which imparts to them acceleration in the ratio 2:9 respectively. Find the ratio of forces the masses experienced. Okay, for this question, we know that the formula for force is MA. Okay, this is the formula for force MA. Now, in this question, we have the ratio of mass. We have two bodies having masses in the ratio of 3:1. So the first mass is 3, the second mass is 1. Then we go to the acceleration. The first acceleration is 2:9. The first acceleration is 2, and the second acceleration is 9. Now, to find the ratio of forces the masses experienced, so the force of the first mass will be 3 times 2, which will give you 6. Force of the second mass will be 1 times 9, which will give you what? 9. So it's in ratio. Ratio implies division. This will give you 6/9. So 3 into this 2, 3 into this 3. So the ratio will be 2:3. Now we answer this question 2:3. The correct option is what? Option A. Okay, so that's it for this question. Let's wipe this now and solve the next repeated question. Okay, so the next repeated question will be this. It says an object with a mass of 5 kg is moving with a velocity of 8 meters per second. It experiences a constant net force of 40 Newton in the same direction as its motion for 4 seconds. What will be the final velocity of the object after this time period? Okay, so basically in this question we have our mass to be 5 kg, we have our time to be 4 seconds, we have our initial velocity to be 8 meters per second, we have our force to be 40 newtons. So we're going to apply this formula for Newton's second law of motion. F equals change in momentum, V minus U over C. Let's plug in the values. Okay, so it will be 40 equals our mass is 5 in brackets. We are looking for the final velocity V minus initial velocity is 8. Okay, over our time is 4. So when you cross multiply, you're going to have 40 times 4, you're going to have 160 equals 5V, alright, minus 40. Okay, so you make V straight formula, which will cross over and you change the plus, so it will be 160 plus 40. You're going to have 200 equals 5V. Divide both sides by 5. So our final velocity will be 40 meters per second. That will be the answer. The correct option is option B. It's as simple as this. Let's wipe this now and solve the last repeated question before we call it a class. So the last repeated question we're going to solve will be this question. It says two bodies having masses. I think we have solved this question. The correct option is 2:3. Alright, so that's it for this video. Hope there's something interesting from this video. Let's call it a video here, guys. If you're new to our channel once more, ensure that you are subscribed to this channel by hitting the subscribe button for more of our videos. Also like, share, and comment on this video. Let me know how you feel for what I learned from this video. If you seem to have any specific questions to ask regarding what I've talked about in this video, feel free to leave a question in the comment section below and I'll be sure to give you a response. Now click on the screen above and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.